Rick and Morty is one of the coolest shows ever made, but some of the stuff the characters get up to is totally not cool. I'm looking at you, Beth Smith. Being the daughter of Rick Sanchez, aka the most prolific criminal in the universe, she's going to be guilty of numerous felonies, right? You would think so. And no, I'm not talking about being married to Jerry. I present to you a rundown of her disgusting criminal past. Did you know that in 24 states, not sending your kid to school can be considered child abuse? It's educational neglect, and Beth Smith is the poster mom of it. For her to be charged, Morty would need to have missed at least 5 days of school in a month. And in the pilot episode, it's revealed the teen has attended school for, drumroll please,
Your son Morty has attended this school for a total of 7 hours over the last 2 months.
Why didn't you notify us?
I done been notifying you.
While it's Rick who's always taking Morty out of class, Beth is still his legal guardian. She could get a whole year in prison for educationally neglecting Morty. And I mean, I do feel kind of bad for her, but she can't exactly chain Morty to his desk. And you were the one who wanted your dad back. These are the consequences. Rick is smart, brave, and has a garage full of fancy science equipment. He could literally do anything, yet he chose to turn himself into a pickle. He calls Morty into the garage to unveil a super sophisticated science experiment he's been working on.
I turned myself into a pickle, Morty! Boom! Big reveal. I'm a pickle. I turned myself into a pickle! What are you just staring at me for, bro? And? I turned myself into a pickle and 9/11 was an inside job? Was it? Who cares, Morty? Here's something that's never happened before. I'm a pickle! I'm Pickle Rick!
All I'm seeing in my mind right now is the McDonald's Szechuan sauce freak out.
Rick! I'm Pickle Rick! Rick!
While Rick was expecting Morty to be on the floor in awe of his genius, the boy is just confused. He asks Rick if he did this just to get out of family therapy, and Grandpa assures him that he would never do something like that, but the evidence is pretty conclusive.
Hey, Rick, why is there a syringe of mysterious fluid hanging directly over you? Why is the string attached to it running through a pair of scissors attached to a timer? Exactly when we would have left for therapy?
Well, Morty, the syringe is completely unrelated to this discussion and therefore does not warrant further explanation.
Enough.
If he was anyone other than Rick Sanchez, he could have just faked being sick, but no. Rick says the syringe is completely unrelated to the situation, and knowing full well he's lying, Beth takes the syringe and leaves with the kids for therapy. So Pickle Rick is left all alone with the garage door wide open. What could go wrong? This.
I've seen the YouTube videos. I know cats are scared of cucumbers and pickles because they think they're snakes. I'm a pickle! I'm a pickle! Oh, whoa. Oh, crap, that sun is bright. Okay, come on. This can't really be the way I go out. This is the mega genius equivalent of dying on the toilet.
Fortunately, Pickle Rick does not bake to death. His life gets saved by the rain, but the change in weather also causes him to be washed down the drain into the sewers. Meanwhile, Beth is in Dr. Wong's waiting room lecturing her kids about them huffing pottery glaze and desk wetting at school.
It's nobody's choice to be here, you knobs. The family was told to get counseling by your principal, even though it's not the family that was huffing pottery glaze in the art room and desk wetting in history class.
But her rant gets interrupted by the patient before them. Put down whatever you're eating now.
The Smith family, minus the dad. You're patients of Dr. Wong, too? Me, too. How long have you all been eating poop?
We have never eaten poop.
Me neither.
If any of you were eating chocolate while watching this video, I sincerely apologize. Back in the sewers, Pickle Rick has created some limbs for himself after savagely killing a bunch of cockroaches and rats. Looking weirder than ever before, he escapes the drainage system through a toilet, which of all the places it could have led to, at least is some kind of government facility. Bang, that pickle travel far. Despite being tiny and easy to snap in two, Pickle Rick kills off all the government guards in extremely brutal ways. Being murdered by a pickle is not on the itinerary if you're a human being, but it might as well should be, because that's a fracking epic way to go. After blowing up the facility, Pickle Rick escapes in a helicopter and flies back home in time for the last few minutes of boring therapy.
You must be Rick.
Mm-hmm.
I've heard a lot about you today. Your family is crazy about you. Your daughter holds you in very high regard. You're a lucky fella.
Yeah, thank you. Sweetie, you don't still happen to have that syringe in your purse?
On the ride home, Beth gives him the syringe and he transforms back into regular old Rick. Been a long day for him. None of those life-threatening situations would have happened, though, if Beth hadn't pettily taken that syringe with her to therapy. Yes, this entire segment we talked about Rick, and Beth is still getting charged for a crime. For putting your father's life in grave danger, she could be charged with reckless endangerment and locked in the slammer for exactly 1 year. But, like, Rick kind of had it coming, I'm not gonna lie. You think even after all that, Rick still eats pickles? Like what if he considers it like cannibalism now? I'm overthinking this. Anyways, do you know who doesn't deserve one of those best mom mugs for Mother's Day? Beth Smith. Always allowing Morty and Summer to go on highly dangerous outer space adventures with her irresponsible father. And these outings have put her kids in some very painful and life-threatening situations, like that time Morty fell off a cliff and broke both his legs.
Together. You have to turn them on, Morty. The shoes have to be turned on. Oh, Morty, you really did a number on your legs right now. You know, you gotta turn the shoes on, Morty, for them to work. See, look, I turned mine on. I had no problem getting down here. It was a leisurely breeze.
I'm in a lot of pain, Rick.
Yeah, I can see that.
Or that time Rick took both her kids to a post-apocalyptic cannibal-filled world and left them there.
What make this stop? Mister, please get out of here or you're gonna die. I have nothing to do with this.
Or also that time Morty was almost burned alive while his grandpa attended to a very important job. All that stuff isn't just gonna earn Beth the title of worst mom ever, it's gonna get her charged with child endangerment. Get a mug for that one. And those clips alone will land her a 3-year stay in the big house. Beth has failed to report hundreds of Rick and Morty's crimes, and I can think of one particularly terrible example of her turning a blind eye to her son and father's heinous acts. That time they annihilated the entire alien civilization of Glorzo. After landing on the planet Glorzo, Rick and Morty believed it was inhabited by low-life scum parasites, but he's absolutely shocked to discover a fully developed city equipped with a store we all know and love.
Yeah, this might be a little harder than I thought. Holy sh**, they've got an M&M store.
Rick and Morty venture into Glorzo wearing disguises they clearly put zero effort into. They find their lost spacecraft tied to a ship filled with eggs which the facehugger aliens are planning to drop on Earth. Morty's disguise then falls off and they make a break for it, destroying vast amounts of the city in their escape. Despite having done enough damage to the planet already, the two bastards then decide to totally obliterate the civilization just for the lulz.
I am the god of death.
Should have been a better species.
After eradicating possibly billions of sentient aliens, they head back to Earth and laugh it off over breakfast.
At 9/11, we went with the Pearl Harbor. We're pretty classy.
Why were either of those an option?
Ask the Saudis.
Wow. Damn.
Yeah, getting political.
The horrifying tragedy aside, those pancakes look really good. Like, why does cartoon food always look so appealing? While Rick and Morty are clearly the worst terrorists ever, Beth is also guilty of a crime for simply knowing about their terrorist attack and never reporting it to the authorities. Unless we're counting these aliens as just that, not human, and therefore human rights don't apply to them, but I'm not counting that. For failing to report a felony, Beth would be sentenced to 3 years in jail, but that's definitely better than spending the rest of your life behind bars for terrorism. Like father, like daughter. Beth loves a drink or two, or 12.
You really nailed it. You're a surgeon. A human surgeon. A-U-N.
And in the episode Total Recall, it's revealed how much she sucks at being a mom. The Smiths and Uncle Steve are enjoying a normal family breakfast. That is until Rick shows up. Rick explains that Uncle Steve was actually a memory-altering alien parasite. Yeah, that's not something you want to deal with that early in the morning. The family searches for more parasites, and Rick puts the whole house onto lockdown so that they don't escape onto the whole world. Mr. Poopy Butthole then reminds the family that time they all got stuck in an elevator after watching the Hulk musical.
Why did all the drinks have to be extra large? Oh, the Hulk, I just got that.
Just pee your pants. I did it the minute we got stuck.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, shame me. At least when I'm disgusting, it's on purpose.
Oh, that's just nasty, Summer. Morty's about to burst, but cousin Nikki arrives just in time to save him from an accident. But wait, the Smiths don't even have a cousin Nikki.
What the? Cousin Nikki was a parasite?
Rick reminds Morty about the number 6 he stuck to the wall. But that little piece of paper reminding the Smiths how many people are supposed to be in the house is no match for the parasites. Pretty soon, a whole bunch of them invade the home, and despite there being a literal floating star, a talking pencil, and a dinosaur, The family got no idea who's real and who isn't. Morty turns on Rick, but realizes he can't possibly be a parasite because they're only able to create good memories, and like 90% of his memories of Rick are negative.
I figured it out, Rick. The parasites can only create pleasant memories. I know you're real because I have a ton of bad memories with you.
Rick and Morty storm the living room and break the news to everyone else. Then the parasite Mrs. Refrigerator is the first to die. Guns are drawn on Summer next. However, that's when Morty remembers just how much of an asshole she is.
Never go in my room again.
I didn't.
Rick hands her a gun and she points it at Beth. Is she really gonna kill her own mother? Nah. There's one memory that stops her from doing that.
Yes. What time?
Oh my God, are you drunk?
What are you, my wife coach?
You're what? Oh, God.
Oh my God, sweetheart, are you okay? I didn't
I'm gonna
mean
have
to.
a bruise. It's picture day.
It's not. Don't overreact. I can clean it up.
I want the police to take me.
Beth really is the worst mom, dude. She gave her daughter a black eye and probably would have driven her to school drunk. The Smiths fight off all the parasites by the end of the episode and everything goes back to normal. Well, not for Mr. Booby Butthole, who almost gets murdered. More on that later. But what if the police found out about Beth giving her kid a black eye while drunk? Well, she could be prosecuted for child abuse. If found guilty, she'd be locked away for 10 years. Beth has witnessed plenty of her father's evil deeds, so hanging out with demons shouldn't scare her at all. Rick tells Beth he's taking Jerry on a night out, and she's thrilled that her husband and father are finally getting along. But Mr. Sanchez secretly still hates his son-in-law's guts, and the only reason he's going to be seen in public with him is so he can repay a debt he owes to some demons.
Jerry, exquisite finery this evening.
Well, don't tell Ross, but I got this little ditty from Coles.
I love that I don't get it.
I don't know what Rick's groaning for. His face is covered in vomit most of the time. At least Jerry makes an effort. If you're familiar with any horror film, you'll know the demons feed off of suffering. So what better way to watch people suffer than to hang out with lame old Jerry at a karaoke bar?
We love suffering. Therefore, we love hanging out with Jerry.
His lameness is our candy.
Yeah, I got that, but when is enough gonna be enough?
When we decide you've repaid your debt for those faulty skin hooks.
After work, Beth joins Jerry, Rick, and the demons at the bar. However, she drinks a little too much and ends up brutally humiliating her husband.
And that was the third time he shit his pants from eating too much soup.
To be fair, it was cold outside and the soup was warm.
Great. Should probably get the tab, huh, fellas?
Relax, Dad. Since when did you become the buzzkill?
Speaking of relaxing, this big man on campus has got to go drain his little man on campus.
Wait, honey, how's that Tina Turner song you love go again?
What's love, Dr. Doolittle?
I feel kind of bad for Jerry, man. He's always getting bullied by the other characters, sometimes for good reason.
Remember when we used to go to the playground and I'd push you on the swings?
Oh, you could push me higher than all the other kids.
I know, and now look at you. You have a job, you're making really good money, you're not paying any rent, so you have plenty of disposable income.
Oh, God, Dad. Please don't.
I just need a few $100s to get through the month.
Jerry gets angry at Beth and Rick for making a mockery of him, and this bores the demons, and they decide to go on an evil rampage throughout the bar.
We'll have to make our own fun.
The demons go back to hell, taking Jerry with them. Rick and Beth run after him and dress up in BDSM gear to avoid being detected as outsiders. They bypass security and find Jerry chained up. The demons then appear and reveal the truth. Jerry was only the bait, and he was never the lamest guy ever after all.
The two of you, you're a package deal.
What the hell are you talking about?
You think Jerry is lame and you're cool. But the lamest thing of all is thinking that. The two of you combined is what we call the lamest thing ever.
Oh, no.
I love seeing Rick get humbled, bro. Jerry will never let them forget this day. Rick and Beth get taken captive, but the faulty skin hooks immediately crumble, allowing all three of them to make a run for it. To escape the underworld, they kidnap a demon and strap it to a machine Rick made that converts pleasure from pain back into pain from pain. The demon feeds off the group's lameness and powers the gun, allowing Rick to unleash hell upon hell.
But in a bad way. I regret so many piercings.
Where's first aid kit face? Or at least add little teeth.
Ow! Bullets that hurt? Could this be the end of Mousetrap nipples?
After Rick's killed the demons, the trio escape through a portal and arrive back outside the karaoke bar. And you're probably wondering what Summer and Morty were up to during all this time. Well, they stole Rick's space cruiser to impress a cool kid from school. They definitely made a good impression. Too bad the adults have to come back home and ruin it for them.
You kids get in any trouble?
Nope.
You sure?
Yep.
Is that a skull?
No, it's a baby's skull.
That's worse. It's still a school night.
Something tells me they won't be seeing Bruce again anytime soon. For kidnapping that demon with Rick and Jerry, Beth would be slapped with a 10-year prison sentence. Guys, we're already halfway through the video, and Beth's sentence is almost 3 decades long. But that is sure to skyrocket once I've shown you these absolutely insane, crazy-o crimes the psycho mom has committed. Stay tuned. What kind of toys did you have as a kid? A doll, electric car, Wii? I bet you didn't have a box full of instruments of torture like Beth did. Full disclaimer, if you did, hit me up, I'm in the market. In an argument about whether Beth was evil as a little girl, Rick tried to prove his point by getting out a box containing various weapons she asked him to make for her as a kid. And what can I say? These weapons are creative, at the very least.
Ray guns, a whip that forces people to like you. It's a parent trap, a lightning gun, atomically correct innards, night vision googly eyeglass racing sneakers, false fingerprints, a lie detecting doll, an indestructible, a taser shaped like a ladybug, a fake police station tracking stick.
Jeez, Dr. Phil would have a field day with Beth Smith, man. Beth claims she only asked for those deadly weapons so Rick would spend time with her, and we'll probably never know if she actually used them to commit any crimes. However, we do know that simply possessing some of those weapons, as in guns, while underage, was definitely a crime. Assuming there's no statute of limitations, Beth could be sentenced to up to 15 years. And I'll admit, I'm a little jealous, actually. Not for the jail time, but for those fall asleep darts she had. I could really do with some of those after making these videos. We all know Mr. Poopy Butthole, the disgustingly named alien and longtime friend of the Smith family. Well, did you know that Beth literally tried to kill him? Some friend, huh? Going back to that Parasite episode, there's something I forgot to mention. Well, didn't forget, I just didn't mention it then. After fighting off all the parasites without killing anyone important, Beth is still feeling a little paranoid at dinner time.
Huh, is something wrong, Beth?
Oh my God!
Oh, fuck! Oh,
Wait, but
Oh, Beth, why?
I need an ambulance. There's been a shooting. My wife shot. My wife shot a longtime family friend.
This had potential to be one of the most tragic, emotional scenes in the entire show. Mr. Poopy Butthole dying. I can't even imagine. Everyone obviously rushes to Mr. Poopy Butthole's aid immediately, while Beth retreats into the kitchen and emotionally pours herself a glass of wine. Luckily, he survived. But yeah, Beth's gonna get a life sentence for that. Won't be eligible for parole either until after 30 years. It's enough time to come up with a very heartfelt apology letter for her victim. A lot of parents have a favorite child, though most won't admit it. As for Beth, do you think she prefers Summer or Morty? Well, she couldn't have given us a more blunt answer if she tried. Rick and Morty have just stolen a truth tortoise and are on the run from an angry, emo-looking alien. The truth tortoise reveals disturbing secrets to anyone who gazes into its eyes, and now Morty has a disturbing, looping memory going on in his head. Back home, Rick takes Morty to a secret lair in the garage where he's been storing Morty's memories. Pretty weird. Morty sits in a chair and Rick gets to work deleting traumatic memories from his mind, like that time he was possessed by an alien worm. And that time, he and Summer were held captive and Beth had to choose a sacrifice.
One of their lives. You simply have to choose.
Summer! Summer!
Bro, she did not hesitate at all. Morty probably never looked at his mom again the same way. Rick just arrived in time to save his daughter and grandchildren from that hellish situation, but the damage had already been done. That doesn't make what Beth did any less terrible either. She immediately gave the captor the green light to kill her son without making even a single attempt to negotiate or reason with them. That means she failed her legal duty to protect. Even though Morty didn't die, Beth could still get charged with this crime. And if convicted, she'd be sentenced to life in the clink. So 30 long years. But there's probably no amount of jail time that could ever make Morty forgive her. Everybody has insecurities, and some people turn to cosmetic surgery to feel more confident in their body. Summer did this once, kind of, but it went very so horribly wrong. Summer's boyfriend Ethan breaks up with her and her heart is just torn to shreds. She blames the failed relationship on her small breasts and runs to Rick's garage in tears. She rummages through her grandpa's stuff looking for something that'll change her appearance and comes across his Morphizer XC. Summer gets the boob job she wanted, and she's pretty darn pleased with herself for approximately 2 seconds.
Come on!
After hearing Summer's bellowing groans, Morty rushes to retrieve the Morphizer XE from the garage. It's too late, though. Meanwhile, Beth is standing in the front yard, wondering what the hell just happened. Morty suggests that they call Rick for help, but Beth has way too much confidence in her medical degree and decides to fix Summer herself using alien technology.
I'm pretty sure normalize will make her normal.
That failure didn't completely shatter Beth's ego, so she tries again, this time making things 1,000 times worse of her already giant daughter.
Call Rick! Thank you.
There's a customer service number on here.
Mom!
Typical Beth, always putting her own pride before the welfare of her kids. Also, just imagine being the neighbor in this situation. You look out the window and see that. Beth calls the customer service team, who are hilariously just inside the machine, but instead of helping the woman, they just trick her into pressing a button that lets them escape. Probably the longest work shift in history, mind you. And they aren't the only ones who escaped. Summer's gone. She's like 50 feet tall, and they lost her very quickly. Beth drives around looking for her while Morty sits in the trunk and tries to figure out how the Morphizer XE works. He realizes his sis must be at Camp Flabba Nabba.
Wait, when did Summer ask you that?
Right before she Clive Barkered herself. Why?
Wait, I know where she is! Ethan and Summer were supposed to go camping, and then he dumped Summer for this girl Trisha Lang who's got huge boobies and took her.
The exact place she and Ethan were supposed to go camping before he dumped her, and Beth angrily drives to said campsite.
Mama's coming and she cares about your titties.
That sentence probably sounded a lot less creepy in your head, Beth. Camp Flabba Frick. Ethan is enjoying a cozy date with his new girlfriend, Trisha, but their evening of romance gets rudely interrupted by not one, but two hideous giant freaks. Morty says that Beth also turned herself into a monster to make Summer feel better about herself. Trisha is touched by this moment and runs home to call her mother.
Oh my god. I have to go call my mother.
Trisha, wait! Ethan! Hey, it's okay. Sit down.
As for Ethan, the dude's left alone in the woods with just an angry-looking Morty and the Morphizer XE. This can't be good.
This is the life.
It certainly is.
To freedom.
Ooh, looks like a 422.
Oh, a couple cranks on the scaling knob with a 4 dilobyte crossfade would fix that up in a jiff.
And to my knowledge, we have never seen Ethan again after this episode. Beth committed the crime of mayhem in that episode. That's a law prohibiting the disfiguring and or maiming of another person. For zapping Summer with a Morphizer XE twice, Beth would be sentenced to 80 years in prison. Still, living out the rest of your life in the slammer is 1,000 times better than spending it as a river mutant like Ethan. Ever wondered why Beth decided to become a surgeon in the first place? Maybe she just loves horses, or maybe she's got a secret lust for blood and gore. According to Rick, Beth was a scary kid.
You were a scary kid, man.
Oh my god.
And he built a magical land for her just so he wouldn't be held responsible if the little sociopath harmed the neighbors.
I didn't make Froopy Land to get rid of you, Beth. I did it to protect neighborhood. Not in a noble sense. You know, cloning a replacement for every less than polite little boy or animal that might cross your sociopath.
Beth, Summer, and Morty are all relaxing in the living room when the news announces the scheduled execution of a local child killer who ate his own son. Beth closes her newspaper to listen to the report as the dead child in question was her childhood best friend named Tommy. She tells her daughter about how badly Tommy's death traumatized her, and shortly Summer is on the edge of her seat holding her mom's hand while she retells this traumatic part of her childhood.
I was traumatized, Summer. Okay, your generation wouldn't get that.
Traumatized for breakfast.
It took years of therapy to even process the reality.
Remind me again why Beth was so quick to save Summer over Morty? Beth says that she tried to cope with her friend's death by creating a make-believe world in her head called Froopy Land and pretending he got lost there. Rick walks in as Morty asks to hear more about Froopy Land, and I guess it's a super secret issue the kids can't know anything about because they are immediately shot with a bubble gun.
Can we talk a little bit more about this Froopy?
Not the bubble gun.
That actually looks kind of fun, minus the part you potentially asphyxiate from a lack of oxygen. Seriously offended, Rick tells Beth that Froopy Land was in fact not make-believe and was a real place he worked hard to create for her when she was little. He digs through an old box in the garage and pulls out a portal to the magical land, and the two of them then head into the colorful wonderland in search of Tommy's skeleton. As they walk through Froopy Land, they speculate what might have happened to the boy. Did the creatures kill him? Did he starve to death? Well, the monster theory definitely seems more probable.
I think the word you're looking for.
Childproof.
No, seriously, this thing is closing.
You've made your point. Depict, Dad!
Rick is taken back to the monster bird's nest to be her baby's next meal. They aggressively peck at him and he escapes with only 3 of his limbs, replacing the missing one with a robotic arm. He kills the mother bird and his arm reveals that the creatures contain human DNA. There's only one very gross theory that could explain that.
Are you saying Tommy survived here by having with fruity creatures, creating spring and then consuming their protein, sustaining himself with an endless cycle of
Just a working theory, of course, if that's the case.
I wonder if those two have ever considered taking up rap. Like, they speak so dang fast. And I thought I talked fast. An army of Frumpyland creatures suddenly appears and arrests Rick and Beth. They're then taken to meet King Tommy, and his very hairy majesty puts on a theater show to explain what happened to him.
I am little Tommy. I'm Tiny Beth. Come with me to my magic world. For Frumpyland, where I have no role. Excited. I am jealous of Tommy's friend in his Nintendo. In his statue.
Wasn't class playwright?
Do you want to see the honey swamp? Let's do it! Well, I want to see you help! I'm stuck! I'm covered in honey!
That's interesting.
Fake news.
And that wasn't even the weirdest part of the performance. This is.
I am hungry, and all I could do to pass is hump. I will hunt this I will hunt this tree. I will hunt this beast of the land. I am the first of his children. Eat of my flesh, survive. And so I did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Those child voice actors must have been hella confused. And as if that play wasn't weird enough, King Tommy then performs a demonstration of him breeding with a Frumpyland creature. But before he can tuck into the... I can't even say it. Before he commits another abomination, Rick says it's time to go. I agree. Get the hell out of there, man. They arrive back home, and despite the disgusting sight he just witnessed, Rick marches straight to the kitchen and binges on some wafers. He tells Beth that he's pulling the plug on Frumpyland, and she pleads with him to rescue Tommy.
But Tommy's still in there raping Muppets and...
That's not our problem. Time to pull the plug.
Pull the plug? Okay, we need to do the right thing. Do what you never did as a dad.
Cut the high road routine. We both thought you pushed him in the honey swamp, Beth. His very happy life is in you. Go save him from it.
You're gonna believe a play?
Rick and his daughter then argue in the garage about whether he was a bad father or Beth was just plainly evil. Why can't it be both? But when she's finally had enough, she grabs the box of her childhood weapons Rick got out to prove his point and goes to Frumpyland to rescue Tommy herself. She storms into the castle and tries to persuade the king to come back to the real world.
Tommy, you don't understand. I have to make this here. I'm Beth.
The Destroyer!
Oh, suck it up, Princess Incest.
Well, tends to happen when one is...
I respect your right to believe I
have that? Is my reality like a little side of willing to slide my way?
Yes.
But despite coming all this way to put things right, Beth's too petty to say sorry to Tommy when asked. Annoyed by her presence, the king orders the creatures to quote-unquote kill this B-word.
Will someone just kill this B-word?
The oddly cute Frumpyland monsters surround Beth blissfully unaware that she's armed with all her demented childhood weapons. Cue epic battle.
Oh my god, I'm a father.
Oh my, look at that sadistic smile. She's having a frackin' ball slaughtering all those creatures. Once her killing spree is over though, Beth awkwardly emerges through the portal covered head to toe in blood and gives Rick Tommy's severed finger so he can make a clone of the guy. Tommy's mom bursts into tears upon seeing the son she thought was lost forever, and his father is freed from death row. Aw, it's almost like a happy ending. Too bad the real Tommy was probably viciously murdered by Beth. Anyway, let's break down this sociopathic mom's sentence. She'd get 30 years for killing Tommy, another year for covering up his murder by cloning him, an extra year for reckless endangerment since she abandoned him there in the first place, and lastly, 300 years for murdering like 10 Frumpyland guards. And yes, I'm considering their deaths a murder case since they were half human. And if we tally up all of Beth Smith's despicable crimes, her total jail time is 515 years long. I was honestly expecting more, but that still definitely confirms she's a sociopath. In my book anyway. But guess who's 1,000 times more evil than she is? Click the screen to find out how other villains compare.